Dre all day.
You're now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, especially yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And we put all this together into one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one of many books, and an entire library of this daily masterclass right here. You see what number episode this is, or we haven't skipped any. All of this is all under one umbrella that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic, powerful people make tough choices. So if you are out here making tough choices, you are a powerful person. That is your power right there, making the tough choices. And if you want to be a powerful person, then you need to start making the tough choices. If you're dealing with a tough choice right now, making it is where you get your power from, and avoiding it is where you basically sap and you dilute your own power. In my lifetime, I have hired and fired people. I have been hired for and quit jobs. I have been with and dumped people. I have ended relationships, whether friendships, business partnerships, intimate relationships, killed off products, launched products. Oftentimes, in doing all of these things, oftentimes I have made these decisions to the surprise and or disappointment of others who may have been involved in those situations. And maybe you have been in at least some of those yourself. Maybe you have been the recipient, maybe you've been the one delivering. But it is my and your willingness to do these things, not for the purpose of hurting people or pissing people off or just for the sake of surprising them or, for an April Fool's joke, but it is my and your willingness to do these things that we're looking to serve the bigger picture. And that's what makes you powerful. And I'll explain what I mean when we get into this episode. Before I go any further into the intro, let me remind you that I have a text number where I want you to send me a text. My number, 305-384-6894. Tell me the best thing that you got from today's episode. Ask me a question that you have about anything that I've shared here today. Let me know a challenge that you're dealing with that what I'm talking about here today may help you solve. My number again, 305-384-6894. Just like we talked about in yesterday's masterclass, that you got to have a bigger mission, a bigger objective in what you're going after. And in order to reach your bigger objective, many times along the way, you're going to have to make some tough choices. You're going to have to get rid of some things that are no longer serving, or kill off something that you thought might have worked, but it's clear that it's not working, or get rid of a person who you brought in because you thought they may have been able to help you, and maybe they did for some time, but they're not helping anymore, and now they got to go. This happens in life. All right? The only constant in life is change, and a tough choice is one of those changes that needs to be made. And usually when we make these tough choices, that's really when we create our breakthroughs. Today we're going to talk about why that is. So point number one, topic again, powerful people make tough choices. Number one, power does not accrue to a person who can only make easy choices. If the only choices you want to make are the ones that are easy, the ones that are obvious, the ones that will not ruffle any feathers, the ones that won't make anybody angry, the ones that may not cause an inconvenience for you nor for anyone else, if those are the only choices you're willing to make, if those are the only choices you've been making, you will not create power in your life. You will not step into power in your life, and you won't be able to do anything when you finally do get around to that tough choice. You will not be conditioned to handle it. You will not be prepared to do anything about it, or to do anything with that tough choice that's in front of you. Maybe you won't even make a choice, so it's not even a choice to you. If the case was that you could become powerful in life by only making easy choices, well, power wouldn't be power, would it? The reason that power is power in life is because not everybody can have it. Actually, let me back up. The reason power is because not everybody has it, because not everyone is willing to do the things to get it. Everybody could technically have power if they wanted to have it, but not everybody wants to do the things that are necessary to get that power. Therefore, not everybody has power. This is just the way that it works in life. It's power because not everybody has it. That's the reason that it's as valuable as it is because not everybody has it. Scarcity makes the price go up. Not everybody wants to make the tough calls in life. Those tough calls lead to uncomfortable feelings, uncomfortable emotions, maybe uncomfortable conversations, may lead to some confrontations, These are kind of things that a lot of people, many people, maybe more than you think, will do anything to avoid. Many people they will, at all costs, they seek to avoid any type of uncomfortable situation. And an uncomfortable situation doesn't even have to involve other people. It could be an uncomfortable situation, uncomfortable you with yourself, knowing that you made a decision that might not be so popular with your family, maybe not be so popular with your team or with whoever's around you or your audience or whatever. A lot of people just avoid making any kind of decision that falls into that category so they don't have to deal with that discomfort. And their unwillingness to step out of their comfort zone and deal with discomfort is what keeps them away from reaching power. Because power is not a thing that is given to you, ladies and gentlemen. Power is not something that someone can just point at you and say, all right, we're going to make Mike powerful now. All right, we're going to make Amy powerful today. That's not the way that it works. You become powerful by the decisions that you make, by the choices that you make, and the actions that you decide to take, by the initiative that you choose to take. And notice I'm using the word take, not given, but take. Power is power because not everybody's willing to do what's necessary in order to have it. And one of the quickest ways to create power in your life is to make the tough choices that other people want to just stay away from. They want to abstain from. They want to stand around and wait for somebody else to make the tough choice because they don't want to be the one to maybe have to be, I guess, what will become the bearer of bad news because they're making a tough choice. What makes it a tough choice is that there's not an easy decision. Meaning, no matter what you do, somebody may be annoyed. No matter what you do, somebody's not going to get what they want. No matter what you do, there's going to be a cost to it. And many people just don't want to deal with the discomfort that comes with that, the internal discomfort, emotional, spiritual, mental discomfort. So they just stay away and they do absolutely nothing. And therefore, they can never step into power. But you can, because now I'm telling you exactly how it's done. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is powerful people make tough choices. Power and decision making work hand in hand. Decision makers are powerful people. Why? Because they're the ones who get to make the call. And powerful people are decision makers. Why? Because they're the ones who are willing to make the call. And I'm pausing there so you can let that one sink in. The root word of decision is incision. The definition of incision is a surgical cut made to the skin or flesh. In other words, to cut off. Incision means to cut off the other options. Decision rather means to cut off the other options. Powerful people are willing to cut off other options. Now they leave themselves with one option and then they commit to that option and then they make something happen with that one option that they have left for themselves. People who cannot create power in life, people who live in a state of perpetual weakness, when they have many choices, they have many options, they want to hold on to all of their options. They want to hold on to all of their choices. Now, there is a time, as a disclaimer, there is a time in life when you want to have as many options as possible. But you can't just try to keep all your options forever. At some point, you want to commit to something because then you focus your energy. And we know that focus creates power, right? The more focused you are on one thing, instead of dissipating your energy amongst 2, 3, or 17 things, when you focus on one thing, now you're taking all of your forces and concentrating them. This is one of the 48 laws of power. Concentrate your forces. Focus on that, whatever that one thing is you're going to commit to, so you can give all of your resources, time, money, attention, energy, focus. From episode 609, you can give them all to that one specific thing. But if you are dissipating your forces, you're dissipating your resources amongst 2 or more things, there is no way you can be your best at any of those things that you're dissipating your resources amongst. And it's a simple mathematics as to why. Because you're not giving every resource that you have to it. You are not giving your full focus to it. So there's no way you're being your best. You could be better if you were just focusing on this one or that one or that one instead of trying to focus on all 3 at the same time. Even though you may be good at all 3. Even though you may be better than most at all 3. Even though you might be better than everybody at all 3. You are not your best at any of them when you are dissipating your forces. So power and decision. Again, you have to make the choice, decision, to cut off your other options. All right, now you only got one option left. Your power comes from focusing your forces with that one option and making it work. This is the crux right here of what creates power in life. And it is not about you being this clairvoyant person who can just see the future and you know all the right moves to make. It is not about you always being right and never making a mistake. It is not about you knowing what the right answer is before the action is taken. That is impossible. It's about you committing to one plan of action, one way of doing things, at least eventually, once you get enough information to do so. And then through your actions, through your decisions, and through your commitments and your initiative, making that choice that you limited yourself to, making that choice be the right choice through the things that you do. You make it become the right choice because you, by force of will, by force of your skill, by force of the knowledge that you accumulate and the resources that you leverage. Those resources can be people, they can be your time, your energy, your money, your focus. Through those resources, you make that thing turn out the way it is supposed to turn out. That's how power and decision work together. So power is not about you always being right or you being smarter than everybody or you being a psychic who can just see what the best possible outcome will be before it actually happens. It doesn't work like that, everybody. But you can make it look like that through the actions that you take. But you have to have, in order for you to even do that, you have to have the belief within yourself that this will work. You have to have the belief within yourself to say, okay, I'm gonna cut off all the other options. I'm gonna go for this one right here, and then I'm gonna make this work. I don't know how I'm gonna make it work. I'm not guaranteed that this is gonna work, but I'm gonna make it work. As if you had a guarantee of everything working before it actually worked, it wouldn't really be that impressive, would it? What makes it impressive is the fact that you didn't know it was going to work, but you made it work anyway. Decision makers cut off other possibilities. That is what a decision is. A decision maker, just today, as a matter of fact, I was going through my CRM, which is what we use to manage leads for media appearances, speaking gigs, and things like that. When we reach out to or have conversations with someone who is hiring speakers for professional speaking opportunities, person that we're looking for, with the phrase that we always use, is the decision maker. Who is the decision maker here? Who's the person who decides who the actual, they might have 20 speakers that they're looking at, but they're only going to pick 2 of them. One person will speak on the first day of the conference, one person will speak on the last day of the conference, and they're the one who is authorized to cut the check. Who is the decision maker? That's the person that we're trying to get in touch with, the decision maker. What does the decision maker do? The decision maker cuts off the other 18 speakers and says, we're going to go with these 2 people right here. We want to know who that person is. Now, why do we want to know who that person is? Because that person has the power. And why do we want to know who the person with the power is? Because that's the person who can give us what we want. All right. The person who has no power can't give us what we want. We want the person who can give us what we're looking for. The person that we can sell what we're offering to is the person with the power. And that's the person who makes decisions. The person who makes decisions cuts off everything else. Who is that individual? I want to know who that person is. All right. Put me in a room with the power people. Put me in a room with the decision makers. I don't want to be in a room with the administrators or the note takers or the people who pass messages along. Shout out to them, respect to them, but I want to be in a room with the decision maker. Why? Because they're the ones who can actually do the thing that I need done. All right, that is their power, is cutting things off. It is not their power to accumulate more options. The power is cutting off the options. While yes, as I said, there are times when keeping options open can be a powerful position as well. People who win in life at some point have to make a commitment and cut everything else off. Amateur athletes, when you have 10 scholarship offers, or even students who get accepted to 10 different colleges, at some point you got to pick one. Now, you can't go to 10 schools at the same time. You can't have 10 scholarships to play soccer all at the same time. All right, when you have multiple job offers, you probably want to pick one job, unless you're going to try to work 2 jobs. But a full-time job, you're probably only going to have one. All right, you can have more than one car in your garage, but you can only drive one car at a time. Right? You only got one ass to sit in a car in at a time. 2 opportunities on the same date in 2 different places, you got to pick one. That is a decision that you have to make. Powerful people are willing to make these decisions, and then their subsequent actions, again, make those decisions turn out to be the right decision. The definition of the word decisive means settling an issue and producing a definite result. That's what it means to be decisive. You produce a definite result and you settle the issue of all these options. What exactly am I going to do? Are you willing to be a decisive individual? Because if you are, then you'll be able to be a powerful person. If you want to be powerful, be decisive. If you want to be decisive, decide that you are a powerful individual and then make a powerful, decisive decision, or a powerful decision. Making a powerful decision makes you decisive. All right. I might be confusing myself with all these words. Let's move on to point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is powerful people make the tough choices in life. Number 3, the choice that you make is the best choice. Because right now, somebody is listening to me and they're thinking right now, like, Dre, I understand in theory what you're saying, but how do I know that the decision that I'm making is the right choice? So what if I have 3 different options here and I pick this one, but it turns out 5 years later, I look back like, damn, I should have picked the other one. How do I know that I'm gonna go to this school, but 2 years later, maybe 2 semesters later, I realize that I maybe should have went to a different school? How do I know that the decision I'm making right now, and at the same time cutting off the other options, how do I know that this is the right direction for me to go? This is my answer to that question, is this right here. The choice that you make, the decision that you make, the things that you cut off and leaving yourself one option, that is the best possible choice. As a matter of fact, let me go a step further. It is the only choice that you could have made. It is not only the best choice that you made, it is the only choice that you could have made. Now, how the hell do I know that the choice that you made is the best choice? What am I saying here? What I'm saying is this. If there was a better choice than the one that you made, you would have made it. If there was a smarter decision than the decision that you made, you would have made the smarter decision. If there was a better option than the option that you took, you would have took that better option. But because you took this option, I know and you know that that was the best option. That's why you took it. Your actions will not bear out. Your actions will bear out that the choice you made was indeed the best choice. Not it will not, but it will. Bear out that the choice you made was the best possible choice. How do I know that? Because you're a pretty smart person. You built yourself up. You worked on your game and displayed your game to the point that you had choices, that you had options. All right, people who have no game, people who really have nothing to offer, they don't ever have choices in life. They usually just got to take what they can get because they're not good enough to have options. If you're good enough to have options, if you're good enough to have choices, you're good enough that you need to make a tough decision, that's because you have game. And since you have game, that means I know you're pretty smart, because you couldn't have developed game without being smart. You couldn't have developed game without being good. Therefore, when you make a decision, I know that I could trust, and therefore you should be able to trust, looking in the mirror, that the person in that mirror is the one who makes the best decisions. The person in the mirror is the one who not only makes a good decision, but then they make sure that that good decision turns out to be a great decision based on your subsequent actions, choices, and the results that you produce, your performance and your production. Because remember, we're in a performance-based business and a results-based business. Where do those performance and results come from? The person who made the decision. Who was that? That would happen to be you. So I know you made the right choice, because if there was a better one, you would have made it already. Let's recap today's class, which is powerful people make tough choices. In your lifetime, you're going to hire and fire, get hired, get fired, dump people, get rid of people in relationships, kill off things that aren't working, stop doing stuff that isn't serving you anymore, many times to the surprise and disappointment maybe of others who were involved. But it is your willingness to do these things, not because you're just trying to shock and awe people for no reason, but because you're trying to serve the bigger picture in your own life. That is exactly what makes you powerful, and today we're discussing why that is. Number one, power does not accrue to people who only make easy choices. If that was the case, then power would not have the significance that it does in our society. It is power because not everybody has it, not because they can't get it, but because not everybody wants to make the tough calls required in order to have it. Point number two, power and decision work hand in hand. The root word of decision is incision, meaning to cut off. Decision makers cut off other possibilities. That is why they have power, because they are willing to cut off the other possibilities available to them and then make that choice that they did take, make that one work out. Powerful people make these decisions, and then their subsequent actions make them right. As I just said, the definition of decisive is settling an issue or producing a definite result. And number three, the choice you make is the best choice. As a matter of fact, it is the only choice you could have made. I know this because if there was a better choice, you would have made that one. Your actions will bear out that the choice you made was indeed the best possible choice. How do I know that? Because you couldn't have got to where you are having options if you didn't have game. And because you have game, I know you make good choices. See how all that works together? Send me a text and tell me the best insight, best idea. What are you going to think differently? What are you going to do differently? What situation have you been dealing with that you figured out now through listening to what you just heard? My number is 305-384-6894. Again, 305-384-6894. Work on your game. Dre all day.